Hey gang, Scott here. Welcome to In Post, and thanks for joining me today. I want to share with you a technique that I used to create this desaturated, punchy look for a photo that I shared earlier this week in an In the Field video. This was of the mushroom house. This is a little San Diego icon that it's easier to get a photo of it at lower tides, and I took this capture and I wanted to just kind of, just really make that mushroom house stand out. And the tools that made this work are two filters in ON1 Effects, and so I want to share that with you here. So let me show you the photo. So here's the final image. You can see that this mushroom house, this really interesting concrete structure at the base of these cliffs, it's standing out. It's obvious that's the subject. And a lot of the color has been just downplayed. It's been pulled out of the photo. And there were two filters that made this really work in ON1 Effects. Now, I started the desaturated type of look in Lightroom, doing some basics in HSL and so forth. Let me just hit the / key here in Effects. So this is where I started with the photo. And while it may look, wow, there's a lot of color here, the oranges and especially reds were already downplayed. You see a lot of this fencing here. That was, an orange fencing, the types of thing we see, for an area of, do not cross. And then finishing it up, really just giving it a very, very different mood and feel. But the two filters that made this work, Bleach Bypass and the black and white filter. And let me just turn those two filters off. 1, 2. It's a very, very different photo. Now, the first one that made the big push was Bleach Bypass. Let me turn that one on. Already much punchier, and Bleach Bypass is a great way to add contrast. I have a separate video all about the Bleach Bypass filter, all the sliders and controls, how that all works. You can check that out for all the details. This was a really straightforward application of it. Bleach Bypass, some amount. In this case, a little more than halfway up. Before and after. But I still wanted to pull more of this color out. And that's where the black and white filter came in. So applying black and white, I'll turn this on. And again, a pretty typical application, using the color response, doing an automatic on it, and then tweaking the red, the yellow, just to dial things up and down. But notice the mask. Right, I'll open that up a little bigger. The mask here, I'm not using the black and white at full effect on the mushroom house itself. And the reason for that is, if I zoom in here, what I wanted to make sure I maintained is some of those wooden tones, those brownish tones that are in the bases of these windows and so forth. So I didn't want to lose that. Also, I'm not doing a full black and white treatment. The black and white filters only applied at about 50%. So, those two things together, one more time, those two filters turned off, and then adding Bleach Bypass and a partial strength black and white with some little selective application. So if you have a scene that is calling for a desaturated or muted look, a little bit punchy, try out the Bleach Bypass filter and a partial black and white application in ON1 Effects. I guess the partial black and white you could do in pretty much any application that we have. Any editing tool is going to have a black and white mode. If you can apply that at partial strength, give that a try. But the Bleach Bypass, that was a real good one for this photo. It does a very good job of doing something interesting with localized contrast. It's a really cool filter, and I found it to be perfect for this particular photo. Hope you enjoyed the video. You got any other questions, go ahead and drop them below. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Have fun.